This is, listen, Chapter 13, Miracle. It is early afternoon. Charlie has eaten her lunch at the table on the gravel terrace down by the lake where it's shady. While she ate, Sadie lay at her feet, hoping for a piece of sandwich. Coyote stayed under the camellia bush next to the terrace, as close to Sadie as he could get without getting too close to Charlie. She has saved some crusts from her sandwich, and now that she is finished, gives one to Sadie and throws the other one to Coyote. He jumps up and backs away as if it's a stone that she's thrown, but when Sadie starts over to get his crust, he snatches it before she can get near. Charlie hears Bethann Davis calling for Sadie from across the lake. Sadie's ears prick up, but she keeps her eyes on Charlie in case there are any more treats. "Sorry, girl," Charlie says. "That's all there is. Guess you'll just have to go home." Bethann calls again, and then Mrs. Davis whistles and Sadie heads down to the water. She stands for a moment before starting across, her big gold plume of a tail waving gently as she tries to decide whether to stay or to go. When Bethann calls once more, she jumps forward into the water and starts swimming. Coyote follows her to the lake, as always, and stands with his front feet in the water, watching Sadie swim. When she's about halfway across, he whines, but doesn't start after her. She gets all the way across, climbs out of the water, shakes herself, and runs up the hill. Still, Coyote doesn't move. He will go any minute, Charlie thinks. Of course he will. Much as he hates swimming, he always follows Sadie eventually. But he doesn't. He stands a while longer, looking toward where she has disappeared, and then turns around, goes back to the camellia bush, and lies down. Sadie has gone home and Coyote has stayed. He's made a choice between Charlie and Sadie. He's chosen Charlie. At first she doesn't move. She's afraid if she does anything, makes even the slightest sound, he will realize what he's done and take off. Liver. She needs to get him some liver, reward him for staying. Slowly, carefully, looking away from him every minute, she eases herself out of the chair and starts up to the house. "Good dog," she says as she goes, her voice as low and soothing as she can make it. "Just stay there. Good old boy." "Sarita!" she yells when she gets inside. "You'll never—" But Sarita must have been watching from the window by her puzzle table. She's already coming from the kitchen with her sandwich bag full of liver pieces. Coyote is still under the camellia. Charlie wants to run down the drive and throw herself at him, hug him, and rub his ears as if he's a regular dog, her regular dog. It is all she can do to walk slowly down the terrace, keeping her eyes focused on the table and chairs, and sit down. "Good dog," she says again, amazed and relieved that he's still there. "You want some liver?" She has been talking to him about the liver she takes him every evening, saying the word over and over as he comes to get the pieces she puts out so that he'll know what the word means. It means something he really, really likes. And he's been coming gradually closer and closer to get it. But still, he hasn't taken the pieces closest to her. She always sees him as she and Sarita drive away, sneaking back to get the last of them. Oh no, there's a train coming. She turns to look at him now, and their eyes meet. He doesn't bolt. She feels the tremor of their connection. "Liver," she says. "Every time you stay here when Sadie goes home, you get to have liver." She takes the biggest piece she can find, holds it between her thumb and first finger so that it sticks out away from her hand. Oh, let's see. That's a big one. It should be okay as long as it's not the engine. Put this back down. She takes the biggest piece that she can find. Oh, it's really loud. I'll go over here where it's a bit quieter. Here, how's this for now? There's Bean and Bonzo. Sorry about that. Okay, so back to liver. She takes the biggest piece she can find, holds it between her thumb and her first finger so that it sticks out away from her hand, turns her head away, and holds the liver out to him as far as her arm will reach. Is he coming to get it? She can't tell. She doesn't dare turn to see. She holds her breath, makes herself as still as she can. Come on, she thinks at him. You can do it. Come get the liver. And suddenly the liver is gone from her fingers. He has taken it so gently she didn't feel his muzzle near her hand. Just one moment the liver between her fingers and the next moment gone. Moving in slow motion, she pulls her hand back and gets another piece of liver. She extends her arm again, and again the liver disappears. 3 more times she does it. Hi, Bean. What are you doing? Then she holds the last piece out in her cupped palm so that he'll have to touch her to get it. It takes longer this time, but he gets it. His nose and whiskers grazed her hand. At his touch, her eyes blur with tears. Good dog, she whispers. Good, brave dog. The sandwich bag is empty now, so she turns to look at him. He is no more than 2 feet away. He stands his ground, his ears and tail up, looking at her as if to ask if there is any more. All gone, she says. Someone's reading with me. There you go, Bean. You want to say hi? Hi. Are you curious? Are you a curious chicken? You love being in pictures. Bean's a ham. Bonzo's new. Oh, I think oh. Who's this? Is that pretty girl? Hi, Tuli. Yeah. That's Tuli. That's my big calico diva. Hi. Yeah, pretty baby. I love you. Okay, so I think the train is, well, it's not gone. Oh, that was the last car. Okay, we're back. Okay, let's sit down and see if I can get this started again. Sorry about that. Talk about me not wanting to pause for editing, right? Where are we at? All gone, she says, and shows him her empty hands. He stands for another moment and then turns and goes back to the camellia. He doesn't run, he doesn't skulk. He just walks back and lies down. Charlie looks up at the windows of the lake room above her. Sarita is there watching. She smiles and nods, and Charlie holds up both thumbs. Wild forever, Mr. Haywood said. Not this dog. Coyote stays in the yard the rest of the day. When Charlie's father comes home, he scuttles across the road into the woods for a little, but comes back to his place under the dogwood when Paul Morgan goes inside. Charlie calls Mrs. Davis and tells her that Coyote stayed when Sadie went home. That's fabulous, Charlie, she says. The kids say they hadn't seen him, and I was a little worried. I thought something might have happened to him. He's fine. Looks like your hard work is paying off. Anyways, if he stays over here, you won't have to keep Sadie inside tonight. Mrs. Davis laughs. And you won't have to risk hearing Buddy Hayward tell you how impossible and dangerous this whole project is. After dinner, Charlie's father goes back to the office. At the time, she would normally have gone around to Coyote's territory with the liver. Charlie splashes on the insect repellent again and goes out to sit on the brick retaining wall. Coyote, under the dogwood, stays where he is, his eyes on her. Brought you liver, she says. His ears flick towards her. She holds a piece out towards him, but he doesn't move. Suit yourself, she says. Half an hour later, she goes inside, leaving 3 pieces of liver on the wall where she was sitting. Before she gets on top of the ramp, he has snatched and gulped them down. Then he goes back to settle into his place again. The lights on the ramp are on a timer, set to go on before it gets completely dark. A little while after they come on, Charlie goes out to check on Coyote. He isn't by the fence where he was before. She checks under the camellia, behind the boxwoods, those are both plants. Even goes out to look among the azaleas, flowers. He is not there. When she goes back inside, Sarita looks up from her jigsaw puzzle, a painting of the Cape Hatteras lighthouse. The television is on. Other people watch television, Charlie thinks. Sarita only listens while she does her puzzles. He's gone, Charlie says. She had hoped he would stay the night. Sarita nods. A good day, though, she says, and fits a piece into the stream of light cutting across a bank of storm clouds. The moment she says it, Charlie knows that it's more than good. It's the best day she's had all summer. That is the end of a very long, drawn-out chapter 13.